Ladies and gentlemen, my name is GoldPhoenixRanger, and welcome to the first ever Ranger Vision podcast. These podcasts are a new bi weekly or every other weekly event that we will be presenting to you here on Ranger Vision to try to be a little more interactive with our member base. The podcast will include reports of board news, news within the fandom about Power Rangers and Sentai, Kamen Rider, what have you, as well as a look back at some old threads on the board, be they fan fictions, RPGs, etc., etc. And I'll even be doing a little read through to give you a taste of what some of these threads contain, to maybe inspire you not only to peruse through and see some of the great stuff that's in our archives and on our board, but also to inspire you to make new stuff in the same vein. Each podcast will also contain a brief roundtable discussion amongst those attending the podcast on a given topic regarding either Power Rangers, Sentai, Kamen Rider, or some other show that's generally associated with our fandom. With that said, I do have three other folks joining me here. Two are staff, one are not. We will regularly be having non-staff joining the staff in this podcast as well, just to mix it up a little bit. And so I'd like to introduce those joining me for this first podcast. First of all, I'd like to introduce you to the staff member who came up with the idea for the podcast. He's the one that really put this all together with help from our super moderator, Raging Phoenix, who could not be here for this particular podcast due to timing, but he will be here for the next one. The King of Spades.
Hello.
And we'd like to thank the King of Spades for, again, putting this whole idea together and really making this work and organizing it. Joining us also... Not a problem. And also joining us, we have one of our super moderators. In fact, currently our longest running super moderator, consecutively speaking. The super moderator over the Terra Venture section of the board, Kamen Rider Decade.
Henshin!
He does that, and yet he refuses to be the person in charge of updating Lost in Translation. Go figure.
I think someone over on the account named Aeon Rider may sue for gimmick infringement.
Oh! Oh! That's an inside joke, ladies and gentlemen. Aeon Rider is better known over here as Akiwa Hajime, our technical administrator. With that said, also joining us is one of our newest regular members, a new face on the board. You might see her around. Feel free to send her a friend request. It's Geeky Girl 15.
Hey.
Delayed reaction. Anyway.
I have a knife.
Yes. So that's it. The four of us are here. Typically, these podcasts will feature 4 to 5 people, a mixture of staff and regular members, to discuss some of the various things going on. So to start it off, we're going to go over a little bit of board news, things happening here on Range Vision that are relevant that we feel the member base should know about. The first thing I'd like to bring up is, of course, the fact that we've really expanded or are attempting to expand our social networking presence. We have links along the top of our forum that include links to our Facebook page, our Twitter account, our YouTube channel on which these podcasts are found, as well as our Tumblr managed by our administrator, Lieutenant X, and our what else we have? Oh, and our DeviantArt page where we will be using to post some of the winners of some of our future graphic arts contests. Those are also in development. Let's see. We also
it would be worth mentioning the DeviantArt page is being run by our moderator Crimson Ranger.
Yes, it is, and thank you, Crimson Ranger, for running our DeviantArt page as well as being in charge of our Facebook page, while I myself personally run the Twitter. Although with the Twitter and the Facebook page linked to post on each other when posted, it's really both of us running both, but mostly him on Facebook. We also would like to mention there is a new skin on the board, sort of. The Mighty Morphin Power Ranger skin has been changed around, recolored, and has a new banner on it. So if you're feeling a little nostalgic, go down to the bottom left corner of the board and flip up the little skin changer and check that out if you like. That's pretty cool. There'll also be more skins forthcoming, hopefully, as time goes on. As you might have noticed, I've switched our default board skin to the Megaforce skin. So give a look at that if you haven't already. That's a great skin, too. If you have any ideas for skins, or if you're a graphic artist out there and you have a banner you think would be great for the board and you create it, please feel free to post it in our banner submission thread down in the graphic arts section. Posted by Anahai, our technical administrator in charge of designs and board appearances. And she'll be more than happy to take a look at them, go through them, and see if she can put together some skins that will look good with those particular banners. As I said, we're open to anything, whether it be Rangers. We have a excessive Ranger banners right now, but if you have anything that might be, for example, if you had a Kamen Rider banner or a what else do they have over there? And any Toku banners really, or any of the other Saban shows, stuff like that. We're open to ideas for banners, things like that. So feel free to submit what you have, and we'll see what we can do with it.
You heard him, King of Spades. Go make a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles banner.
I will. Or, since you said any of the Saban brands, the Tick.
Yes.
Spoon. Anyway,
Was that a catchphrase or an invitation? Wow.
this is a professional podcast. Damn you! This is a professional board podcast. How dare you?
Man, it's supposed to be for kids.
I'm a fat guy. I use spoon for ice cream. I'm going around with the thought of food.
Fair enough.
What were you thinking?
Anyway, I'd also like to take the opportunity to note, if some of you might not have noticed, we've also been doing some changing to the physical formatting of the board. As per our board angel, formerly the Fallen Angel, now Karama, he was attempting to improve board speed and functionality by removing some of the unnecessary subforums. Unfortunately, due to what has unfortunately been a bit of a lack of activity on the board lately, a lot of those sections were empty and were merely taking up unnecessary space. So you'll notice in our areas, some of our areas, including the Morphing Grid, Lost in Translation, the Rockporium, that we've removed some subforms, and that all the threads are now in the primary areas. There are still one or two subforms, but most of them have been removed. You'll note that we've also merged the Ninja's Guidance subform of the Command Center into Angel Grove Times, that being the help section into the board news section, and the Angel Grove Times will now serve both purposes.
Hey,
so if you're looking for somewhere to... Yes, KRD.
If I may interject, I know you were looking for a fifth person. Super Moderator Orangefalcon just logged on.
Moderator Orangefalcon. Pay attention to your own staff.
Super Mod again, my bad.
No. Super Moderators are you, Raging Phoenix, and Crimson Ranger.
But anyway, yes, Orangey is online.
Well, if we'd like to bring him into the podcast, you're welcome to do so. Call host King of Spades, would you like to bring him in?
Yes. I just hope he's not the most annoying orange.
No, I was typing to him.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough. Anyway, continue on, Jeeps, while we're waiting on that.
Very well. Well, we might have a moderator Orangefalcon joining us. We would contacted a number of other staff to see if they could join us for the podcast, but unfortunately a number of them were unavailable. But you will be seeing them on future podcasts. They're being filmed at different times to accommodate different staff attending. So you will see a variety of people in this podcast. That's it. As I said, we merged Ninja's Guidance into Angel Grove Times. So if you do have any board issues you'd like to report to us, please post them in the Angel Grove Times section.
And may I have this opportunity just to introduce Orangefalcon. It's currently ringing him. We're recording this via Skype.
Yes, this is a Skype recorded podcast, so please bear with us. Slight technical difficulties.
Live recording, people.
Hey.
Well, hopefully he answers.
Yes, hopefully.
Event just typed, give me 2 minutes. So
Fair
continue,
enough.
but he shall be joining us.
Orangefalcon will be joining us momentarily then. So yes, if you have board issues, please put them in the Angel Grove Times for future reference, and all board news will continue to be posted in that area as well. In response to the lack of subforums, in order to maintain sorting functionality of the threads on the forum, we've also introduced a lot of new prefixes for the threads. You might notice looking at the forum a variety of new prefixes, such as official threads being labeled with official, interviews being labeled with active if they are active, subject threads being labeled as either Ranger or Toku or what have you, polls labeled with poll, off topic, etc., etc. There are specific prefixes that apply to specific forums on the board. So if you'd like to know more about what those prefixes are in each section, please do take a look at our guide to thread prefixes created by Crimson Ranger, currently posted in the Angel Grove Times. We do ask that anytime threads are created that you do attach a prefix, as it makes it much easier for sorting of threads by both staff and members. I will also note that the prefixes have a hack installed where if you are in a forum and you click on a prefix, it will actually sort that forum to only show you threads containing that prefix in that forum. So, for example, if you were in the Morphing Grid section and you only wanted to see threads pertaining to, say, episode discussion threads, as you know, we post one for each new episode, you could just find one episode thread and click episode discussion, and it would show you all the episode discussion threads within the Morphing Grid forum, rather than you having to scroll through and just find them.
Yes,
So
and hello, Orange.
Hello,
yes.
hello.
Hello, Orangefalcon. Welcome to the first ever Range Vision podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Orangefalcon, one of our regular moderators, and also a member, and also one of our chief contest people.
Oh,
He's also
hello.
one of the oldest members of this community, if I recall.
Yes, he's also been around quite a long time. He's been around 2 months longer than even I have. So he's been around the board quite a long time, since late 2006 in my case, mid 2006 in his case.
For those
So
keeping score, translation: Orangefalcon is old.
So does that mean I have been around longer than him?
you might have. I'm
So
not sure.
I was around during 2005, as I remember constantly
Yeah,
complaining in the
you're-
wrestling
you're
thread about
older.
John Cena's Reign of Terror.
Yep.
So basically, nothing has changed.
Pretty much, only it's not a Reign of Terror anymore. But anywho, continue if you will with the news.
Yes,
And
I will.
also, it may be worth pointing out, as he did not mention at the top of the hour, GoldPhoenixRanger, ladies and gentlemen, is a member of the Power Force. Tell them what the Power Force is.
Yes, I am. Thank you, King. I did forget to mention that. For those of you unaware, which some of you new to the fandom might be, Saban Brands, the company which owns and produces Power Rangers, which is aired on Nickelodeon, recently over the summer recruited a group of, I guess you would call, originally they were entitled Super Fans, but we told them we hated that name, so they don't use it anymore. But a group they're calling the Power Force, which is effectively a group of very loyal, longtime fans, primarily those of us that are that run or are in charge of major PR-related forums and websites on the internet. For them, members include myself, Fury Diamond of Ranger Crew, Dark Blaze and Mr. Yellow of Ranger Crew, Linkar of History of Power Rangers, Black Nerd of Black Nerd Comedy, etc. And we are essentially brought together to work with Saban to help make the 20th anniversary Power Rangers Megaforce and Super Megaforce generally a better season, and to just be a fan sounding board for some of the things that they're working on. So for some of these podcasts, there may be some Power Force related things that may get mentioned. A lot of it is confidential, so that's pending on what happens, but there may be something, if anything is allowed to be disclosed, perhaps something could be mentioned in relation to that as well.
I think we just lost Orangefalcon.
Oh dear. Sorry, folks. Live recording, Skype issues. I apologize.
He'll be back. Anyway.
With that said, the final thing I did want to mention was that, again, always keep an eye on our group interview thread in our interview section, Cassidy's Corner, as there are constantly new questions being posted. As of this recording, question 6 was the newest question that had been posted. And do keep an eye on those. It's a great group interview session where anybody can answer the questions that are posted. They're always looking for responses for that, so do give that a look if you are looking for something to learn about your fellow members or to talk about yourself a little bit. Well, unfortunately, we seem to have lost Orangefalcon. Unfortunately, he's must be having some Skype issues. Do we have a replacement, King?
We may do.
We may have a replacement member joining us, a staff member joining us for the podcast. We will see momentarily, but I'll continue on to the Power Rangers related news while he's working on that. In Power Rangers related news, as of today, which is still Friday, January 18th, as of this recording, and the Eastern time zone of the United States anyway, we had a lot of news break regarding the new season Power Rangers Megaforce. For those of you who would like to check out some of this news, primarily I encourage you to check out a few things. Number one, the new Megaforce promotional video has been posted. It was initially posted by the Huffington Post, but it's also since been uploaded to YouTube by PR Samurai Cast, the good people at Ranger Crew. So the video is available through their YouTube channel as well. Check that out. We learned some interesting information. We learned what Gosei's voice sounds like, the mentor to the Rangers, as well as their new slogan: "Earth's defenders never surrender." So do check that. So do check that promo out. Also, Nick.com has officially launched the Megaforce page of their website. That's at nick.com/Megaforce. I will ask you to be aware that currently that website appears to only function to users in the United States. They have it blocked to international users currently. But you can check out a lot of cool information there, including the full names of all the Rangers. They have first and last names this year, as well as a little bit of background information on each Ranger, plus a little blurb about the season itself on the About page. So do check all that information out. Great stuff.
And I believe we just picked up Orangefalcon again, ladies and gentlemen.
Ah, excellent. Welcome back, Orangefalcon.
Yeah, thank you.
I do apologize, folks. Little Skype issues. Live recording here. The other thing I will mention is that also we've also received the full list of episode names and episode descriptions for the entirety of the Megaforce season, the first season of Megaforce. That all this information on the episode names and the descriptions, as well as information on the Rangers, can be found in our Megaforce information thread down in the Morphing Grid section, and further information can be found on places like TV.com, which has some of the episode descriptions, and a full listing of the episodes and the descriptions, if you'd like to read them, can be found over on MegaforceCast.com, maintained by the Ranger crew staff. Yes, and do be aware that in the Megaforce thread, and of course on Megaforce Cast, there are spoilers for things that are going on. So just be aware that if you don't want to be spoiled on episodes with the discussions and everything, stay clear.
Yes, spoilers. They will defeat a monster and it will grow.
Pretty much. The other piece of news I did want to mention was that for those of you who might not have heard, Jason David Frank, who of course plays the legendary Tommy Oliver of 6, 7 seasons by now?
Greatest Ranger of all time.
Effectively.
Debatable.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, we seem to have lost Orangefalcon. No, I was kidding.
At any rate, as I was saying, Jason David Frank recently attempted and succeeded in breaking a Guinness World Record because he's insane. It happens to be the Guinness World Record for the number of 2-inch thick pine boards broken while in free fall from an airplane.
Nice.
And doesn't he also hold the Guinness World Record for the most colours ever worn in Power Rangers?
If that were a real record, I'm sure he would, yes. But the previous record was 5 boards broken in free fall. Jason David Frank set the new record of 7. Effectively, the way the record works is both he and a number of other parachuters left the plane at the same time, and each of them held a board while Jason, in the air, broke each board one at a time. He was not holding the boards himself. So the new record is 7. Congratulations to Jason David Frank. I know he's got a wonderful plaque. If you get a chance, do follow him on his official Twitter, at JDFFN. He is available. There's a cool little video that he posted there showing off his plaque for his Guinness World Record success.
And I have news. The Kamen Rider Decade from our site is going to try and break this record live on the air.
No, I'm not.
That's a GPR.
That is
No,
true.
no.
Phoenixes are designed to fly.
We're designed to fly, but we're not designed to break boards. They just catch fire.
And the other comment I'd have to make is, couldn't anyone break this record? Just drop a load of boards out the plane at the same time as you, let gravity do the work for you.
It still takes a significant amount of energy to break a board without breaking your hand.
That's why I said just let them fall to the floor and break on their own. That does not count.
So basically let the boardies hit the floor?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I had to do that. So at any rate, that's our Power Rangers news. Unfortunately, we don't have any compiled Toku news this evening. Our board owner Kurama was initially going to join us in this podcast and had the Toku news, but unfortunately he could not make it. So we don't have any Toku news for this week's podcast, but there will be Toku news for the next podcast, so stay tuned for that. With that said, we're going to move on to the next segment of our podcast, which is our fanfiction / RPG / what have you read through. This week, we're actually going to be reading through one of the best fanfictions, in my opinion, that's ever been posted on the board. It was posted multiple times several years ago by a user by the name of Greysword, who I believe still stops by the board occasionally. If you're out there, Greysword, keep up the good work.
And we want
This
you back.
fanfiction. What?
I said, and we want you back.
I thought you said he's fat. I'm like, that's not very nice.
No.
Them's fighting words.
I only said that. Anyway, continue.
At any rate, yes. For those of you who have been around more than a little while, you probably know the fanfiction I'm referring to is entitled Framed. And it's effectively a story where known characters of the Power Rangers universe are put into a unique future where they are in professions or life situations that you would not necessarily expect them to be in, and it is awesome. I chose this to be the first fanfiction we were going to take a look at because I feel it's something that is awesome and that people should really be exposed to and be able to check out. With that said, we're going to do a brief read-through. Do we want to identify the roles or just do the read-through?
Let's just do the read-through.
All right. We're just going to do a brief read-through of the first two posts, the prologue and the first chapter of this story, to give you a little idea of what it's about and see if you might get into it. And below this podcast video in the thread, there is a link to the thread containing this fan fiction. Do check it out if you get a chance. It's pretty awesome.
All right, are you ready?
So with that said, we're going to start this in just a moment.
Yes, boss.
Sorry. I have to reopen that document. Okay, so this is the beginning of Framed, starting with the prologue, and I will note when we switch from the prologue to the first chapter. Take it away, Kamen Rider Decade.
He's got my gun!
Yelled out the bright-haired man as he got back on his feet. I ran faster than I thought I could ever run. Fear does that to you, after all. It's the adrenaline. It boosts every muscle in your body to a whole new level beyond your wildest expectations. I remember there were times when me and her would sit down near a table and discuss things like that for hours. The times when me and her would experience it out on the field. But it never worked as intensively, as energetically as it did now. I found a large wooden crate, the kind used for storing and shipping airplane engines. I hid behind it. I pressed my back against the crate. My shoulders tightened, the gun held firmly in my left hand and clutched close to my chest. I made it. I've arrived at the dock. But he was supposed to meet me at a specific point, and that wasn't it. Still, getting there means getting out of hiding, and that wasn't going to happen so fast.
Team 1, Team 2, spread out!
Yelled the voice. I've learned to know and run from ever since that adventure began.
He's armed and extremely dangerous. He won't hesitate to kill. Use extreme caution.
Footsteps, first steady and fast, then slow, and then silence.
We know you're behind that. I've got my gun pointed at the crate. Drop your weapon and come out with your hands in the air.
I knew he wasn't kidding. Not with this weapon. His gun would hit the crate, go through whatever was in it, exit the crate, go through me, go through the bulldozer 100 feet in front of me, and end its route somewhere inside the cruise ship on the other side of the dock. I had to think fast. Thankfully, that's something everybody always said I could do. I decided to stall. I didn't do it, Eric, I called out. It's not me. Eric didn't believe me, and why should he? I never had anything to prove my innocence. Someone made sure of that.
All evidence is pointing your way. Get out, and I guarantee you'll receive a fair trial.
He shouted. That guy had a lot of air. Maybe I've forgotten to introduce myself. My name is Billy Cranston, and I'm a fugitive murderer. I've been running away from too many people over the last week. Oh, and one more thing. I'm innocent. We'll now be switching over to Chapter 1 of Framed. It all began when I left Akhtar. Ever since... Also, for reference, I know my Billy impression is terrible. I apologize. It all began when I left Aquitar. Ever since the accelerated aging that forced me to leave Earth, I've been living on Aquitar, the planet made completely out of water. I can tell you one thing about that. I was sure as hell happy. I got over my fear of fish a few years before, or I would have likely blacked out the moment I looked out Cestria's window. Ever looked out the window and saw a crow or a dove flying around the sky? Well, try to imagine that, but instead of the sky, think about the bottom of the ocean, and instead of a flying dove, think about a hammerhead shark. Get the picture? So why did I leave, you ask? Call it homesickness, I guess. I missed Earth, and besides, things weren't going too good with Cestria either, so I needed some space. Several light years did the trick, and so, after much consideration, I took the shuttle the last time back to Earth. Thinking of a short trip, maybe meeting some friends, who knows, just my luck, I guess. The journey itself wasn't too bumpy. You see, the people of Aquitar require water to survive, and their shuttles have a built-in mechanism that fills the cockpit with water, which is perfect as long as you have gills. I once nearly drowned in one, made me customize my shuttle to dry environment. It took me a few days, but I safely made it back to Earth. The date was September 28th, 2006. Call me a hopeless romantic. Say I live in the past, I don't mind. But if there was one thing on Earth I missed more than being a Power Ranger, it was being around her. Her smile, her unbelievable charisma, her humble presence that never failed to amaze me. She was the only other human being who ever understood me. I guess you know of whom I'm speaking. I stashed the shuttle in Jeremiah Lake. That place has been deserted for so many years, I managed to find some of my old tracks back from almost 17 years ago, when I had a road trip with my classmates and got lost. Miss Appleby, my teacher, found me with the help of some woodcutters before nightfall. That's not the only thing I remembered about that trip. She was so wildly amazed by the beauty and serenity of that place that she kept saying how she's going to live around there when she grows up. That's another thing I always liked about her, even as a kid. When she set her mind on something, the world could turn upside down and she still won't change her mind. I never had the stomach to be so stubborn. So I ended up renting the region's maximum vacation package, as the men in that cabin called it. It was basically a 1 week rental of a car, a cell phone with all the region's emergency numbers, a region's map, a few smaller scale maps, a phone book, flyers with advertisements of most attractions, and a few other goodies. Again, the men in the cabin said that goodies. 20 miles up the same road, I saw a sign reading Treeville. According to the map, it didn't get much closer to Jeremiah Lake than Treeville. Using the phone book, I found out my intuition was right. She did live in Treeville, and she did have a registered phone number and address. Of course, she was always organized to the tiniest detail. I wanted to surprise her, so I skipped the alerting phone call and drove right to her house. It was located at the far end of town, a private house. The house was painted white, with 4 front windows on the first floor and 2 front windows at the second. I couldn't see the other windows as trees blocked my sight. The roof was somewhere between brown and purple. Couldn't really put the line there. The cement trail to the house was covered from both sides by a beautiful yard with green grass, fresh and sparkling. Right next to the house was a garage. Its door was closed, but a silver van with tinted windows lay before it. I stopped the car and shut the engine. I walked over to her door and knocked. I heard a faint voice yelling,
Coming!
and waited. I heard a key being turned in the lock, then the doorknob tilted to the right, and there she was, standing before me, looking almost the same. Has it really been that long? For a moment, neither of us spoke. We used to be friends, compadres, if you wish. After the awkward moment came to a stop, she slightly opened her mouth and mumbled.
Billy?
I smiled. Her quiet yet powerful presence was featured in her voice, just as always. I looked at her, and with a joyful expression of her shocked voice, I said, Trini? Eventually, she let me in. The door led straight to her living room. She showed me to the couch, but before sitting down herself, she asked,
Would you like something to drink? Coffee? Tea?
I gestured to her that she shouldn't bother. Thanks, but I'm sort of accustomed to water. She let out a smile, her famous smile that narrowed her eyes symmetrically.
Then water it is.
She left the room and went to where I supposed was her kitchen. I took the liberty to browse around. Trini's house was more like I imagined it than I thought. At least half a dozen gold trophies and medals at kung fu contests around the world decorated a shelf, hanging around the height of my eyes. Though the most recent one was dated 2003. On her elliptical wooden table were several things, such as a pencil lying on top of a piece of paper with something written on it, a few candies on a steel plate, a folder with a black and red compass printed on the front, a handkerchief, and a remote control for the air conditioner. I heard the glasses shaking on a tray and sat back on the couch. Trini walked in, gave me a glass, and took the other one. She then sat down. She was the first one to start talking.
What are you doing here? I thought you were an Aquitar.
Well, I'm back for a visit. And what about you? I see you managed yourself in life?
Ever doubted it?
Of course not.
So what have you been doing in Aquitar?
Well, I got married. I helped the Aquatarians with some of their problems, and they taught me many things in return.
Sounds great. How did you know where to find me?
You remember the road trip to Jeremiah Lake? Well, I did.
Oh yeah, sure I do. Your memory is still impeccable.
And what about you? What have you been up to all these years?
Well, here and there, I guess.
You're obviously doing pretty good with this house and that van outside. That's when I stopped. Trini's face lost her color in the matter of a moment. Her eyes widened and she lost a grip on her glass, causing it to fall and shatter on the floor. She got up as if a wasp stung her. I got up startled. She took me by the wrist and pulled me to the door using strength I never imagined she had. What is it? I asked, trying to slow her down.
I just remembered something. Sorry, but you must go.
She said. I was out the door by the time she finished the sentence. Are you all right? I asked. She didn't answer. The last thing she did before shutting her door and locking what sounded like at least 4 locks was say,
I'm sorry.
Trini, come on, I called, knocking on her door fiercely. Come on, let's talk. She didn't answer. I tried ringing the bell, but no good. I tried dialing her number, but the phone kept ringing inside. I tried knocking some more, but it was in vain. I walked over back to my car, and right after giving her house a final concerned glimpse, I drove off. That night, in the Bell Motel where I stayed in room 23, I couldn't sleep. I was terrified by Trini's comment. I've never seen her so edged before. People change, I said to myself. Still, there had to be a logical reason as to why she acted this way. Maybe she really did remember something and was in so much rush that she had no choice but to ask me to leave. Too many questions. I fell asleep several minutes before dawn. I woke to the sound of a hand knocking on my door. I looked at my wristwatch. The hour was 9 a.m. Who would want to bother me? I noticed I was still wearing the clothes from the other day. I got up and answered the door. In front of me stood 2 people, a man and a woman, both in their early 30s. They were dressed up in business suits, though not the expensive kind you would find in designer stores. Yes? I asked, as if they were waiting for me to start.
Billy Cranston?
The man asked. Yes? I said again.
My name is Detective Jack Longbow. This is Detective Rona Jacobs. We wonder if you could come with us down to the station house.
Said the man, grabbing a hold on my arm. Why? I asked.
Trini Kwan was found dead 1 hour ago. We would like to ask you some questions.
What? And thus ends chapter 1 of Framed, ladies and gentlemen. If you'd like to read more, again, if you'd like to read more, and I thoroughly encourage you to do so, it's a great story, please do click the link below this podcast posting video in the thread here. Check it out. It's a great story. Unfortunately, it is as of yet unfinished, but perhaps if enough of the fans read it and want more, perhaps we can convince Greysword to come back and finish it.
And I believe Orangefalcon has something he would like to interject.
Of course, Orangefalcon, please do.
Yeah, in early 2006, Greysword wrote another story, which was which was a completed story actually, and this one was actually a pretty good one that he wrote. It's called Power Rangers Lost Galaxy: The Lost Sabers. Well, I'm not sure if many people remember it, but that was one of his completed works, and I believe that was the only Lost Galaxy fan fiction I've ever read, which was published back at that time, which was posted online, and it was a pretty good read as well.
Very well. Thank you for that, Orangefalcon, and I'll also put a link to that fan fiction below the posted podcast video as well. That way you can check that story out as well. I'll be checking it out myself. So with that said, for the discussion roundtable portion of our podcast, I will turn this over to the King of Spades.
And thank you, Mr. GPR. Today we're going to be looking back, since coming up is going to be an anniversary. Everyone's looking back. We're all nostalgic. There was a season. They actually brought back the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, added some changes in 2010 under Disney. Didn't get a chance to finish it, but they made some changes for nostalgia's sake. Let's look at that. Let's see what we thought about that.
Alrighty.
First up for the opinion on this, just to start it off, I don't know if he's seen it or not, but Orangefalcon, take it away.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
What did you think of the 2010 version of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the one Disney did where they added the effects?
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. Well, I've just seen the opening and a part of the first episode of it, and basically it looked different, I should say. The opening seemed a little like how you find it in a comic book, and I liked it how they put some effects and stuff, which would like maybe if I was a 5-year-old, I would jump up in glee. But because I was looking back at something that I've seen when I was like 5 years old, it was a little different. For one, I was happy to see it little remastered, so I could see the effects a little more clearly and stuff. So I was happy to see the season again in terms of nostalgia. I was happy. I was seeing something which was an integral part of my childhood, which I was glad. I was really happy about. And basically, when I've seen the episode, it brought back a lot of memories actually. For one, grew up watching Power Rangers, and believe it or not, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers helped improve my English. I'm a non English speaker, so it helped improve my English. So I would say it was actually pretty nostalgic, and I liked it.
Yes, for those who don't know, Orangefalcon is one of our international staff members who lives in India.
I would also like to point out we were not being racist by not including him in the read through. We just planned out the roles before we brought him in.
Yes, that was an impromptu ad, and there was only 4 roles in the fanfiction, so we were not discriminating against anybody.
Because we know how the Power Ranger community likes to look for racism and stuff.
Right. And speaking of which, since
It's not Zordon's fault. It was just a coincidence.
but since it has been mentioned, if our viewers couldn't tell by the King of Spades' great accent, he is also an international staff member hailing from the great island of England.
I am.
Yes. So at any rate, we're discussing the remastered Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I remember when it first came on, after the quote-unquote cancellation after RPM, which I was very sad about. But the fact that they were airing something, I said, well, that's better than nothing. And I did watch the first few episodes when they came on the air, and I had a lot of positives and negatives about it. It was great to watch the MMPR episodes again, especially because having been 5 or 6 at the time that they first came out, my memory of them was not exactly clear. So it was great to be able to see some episodes again and really remember what got me into the show to begin with all those years ago. While some of the effects are kind of cheesy and unnecessary, there are a couple of cool things that they added too that I think sort of enhance the episodes. One of the things I don't like is when the Zords come up, they have to put that banner across that says like Red Ranger Tyrannosaurus or what have you. I think that's a little unnecessary. I think kids can figure out what they're seeing. But some of the cool effects were things like zany effects when Bulk and Skull are doing things and getting hit with cakes and stuff, or what was some of the other effects I like? In the morphing sequence, they added that sort of in the initial It's Morphin time, they added that little green matrixy looking grid background. That was kind of cool. And just some of the different things that they did to sort of enhance a few of the effects were pretty good. So some of them were comic booky, but a lot of them were kind of cool. They did kind of add to it, even if they stuck out a little bit compared to the 90s footage that they were applied on top of.
I'll interject that over here, at least in the UK, I don't remember seeing this on TV. I don't think it showed on TV here. We got basically all the way up to RPM. We watched RPM. Then we didn't have anything until Samurai came out. At least not on a channel I know. It's possible one of the smaller channels may have aired it. I didn't get a chance to see it. Then now, due to the joys of Netflix, they've recently added Mighty Morphin Power Rangers season 18. And I was like, huh? 1, 2, 3, 18? What the hell happened to 4 to 17? But I decided to watch it. I'm going to be honest, I like the effects. And I like the banners where it told you what the Zords were for the simple reason, if you're a kid watching that, it's going to teach you how to spell them correctly. Because I don't know about the rest of you, when I was in school and I had to write, and I was writing down about Power Rangers and stuff back in the day when everyone was doing stuff like that, I always used to spell pterodactyl without a P. I always used to spell it that way because that's how it sounded. It used to be terror, like Terror, like the word terror, and dactyl.
Hmm.
I realised how wrong I was. But I
Indeed.
like the effects. The only ones I don't like is the bad like flame effect because that looks like they've just done that in Windows Media Player or something like that. But the ones I do like are the ones which are just so awesome because they're hilarious. Like for example, Green with Evil. Jason's walking away. Tommy pulls out the coin and goes to zap him into the dark dimension type thing, and the word flashes up on the screen: "Betrayed" in capital letters. And then when Tommy's talking about one ranger, one down, four to go, like a Brady Bunch style thing appears next to him with all the rangers' faces, and the red one's been crossed out. Or when Megazord defeats Dragonzord and he lifts him above his head, it actually displays similar to like Mortal Kombat or video game styles. It displays victory in big capital letters as he just tosses him aside. I'm like, oh my god, that's so bad. It's awesome.
Mm. Those were pretty awesome. The other thing I thought, and tell me if you disagree with this, King. The other thing I had a bit of an issue with that I kind of forgot about until you had mentioned it while watching the other day was the fact that after the first few episodes, they decided that they needed to open each episode with the first 5 minutes of Day of the Dumpster.
Yes. The first I stopped watching the episode, I was like, wait, we're playing it. I'm sure Netflix has messed up until I fast forwarded just to make sure. And I found out, wait, that doesn't make sense. Every episode started with the astronauts on the moon and stuff. Although, one other thing I had to address is, thanks to this change, essentially, Jason has to use powers to beat an unpowered Tommy. Because in Green with Evil Part 1, during the martial arts fight, as they're fighting, the text comes up each time they get a point. But for the last point, as Jason's clearly losing by 1 point, suddenly he does like a dramatic punch and his hand glows red like he's morphing a bit as he does it. Like, wait, seriously? So you had to be a dick just to get the last point? You had to just punch him in the chest with your powers? Why?
Well, Jason is the Power Rangers equivalent to John Cena.
He is. Well, I've been talking a little bit too long about this. I will turn it over to either Kamen Rider Decade or Geeky Girl 15.
Sure, I'll go. Unlike the King of Spades over there, I actually kind of like the cheesy flame effect. I thought it was funny, and I thought it actually looked kind of creepy. I was like, whoa, where'd the flaming eyes and background come from? But on the whole, I have to agree with Jeeps over there. I liked, Jeeps and Orangefalcon. I did like the remastered part of it. It made it high def, made it clearer and crisper, and it was cool to see it all like that. However, the cheesy comic booky type effects, like the sound effects and all that stuff, I really didn't like that. It took me out of the experience. Now, that may have something to do with the fact that I am, in fact, the oldest member of the staff, or either that or second oldest member. I'm not sure, certain.
Oh, oh no, don't put yourself down like that. Blah, 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 blah.
Because I'm not sure, KRD. It's either you or Raging Phoenix. I'm not sure which.
Yeah, but for those who don't know, I am 33. Yes, but the first time I saw...
Damn, you're so old, I should be summoning you as a dinosaur.
But the first time I saw 2010 Power Rangers, when I saw those effects, I started getting instant flashbacks of the 1970s Adam West, Burt Ward Batman TV series. And I'm like, no, Power Rangers isn't supposed to be cheesy Batman.
I will say, have you gone back and watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers without the effects? If you go and watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers now without the effects, it's really cheesy when you're watching it. The effects make it somewhat new and like kind of make fun of the cheese, which that's kind of fun to embrace.
Yeah, it does make fun of it, fun of the cheese. I don't know. I don't like it. But like I said, some of the effects I like the fire and like GPR mentioned the little Matrix effect and stuff. One thing I really didn't like, and it seemed completely out of place to me, is whenever the Rangers morph and then they do their, Mighty Morphin, Power Rangers, their pose, the little black outline of their coin pops up above their head like, bling, you got an extra life. I'm like, what's that all about? Some of this is so bad. But I mean, it's still Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, so I still enjoyed it.
I have to agree with you. A lot of these like special effects kind of like hurt me, like because sometimes I feel like I'm watching like Saved by the Bell with like all these like extra bits in there, and though I do like those times where they take like a few screens and they'll have like 3 different moving shots of like one of the Power Rangers and then them standing in the background for like a second or something. I kind of like that. Like, feel that's pretty cool. And those are pretty good. But the worst one for me, the one that drives me crazy, which it would almost make me stop watching like this series because that's how like bad it is that it spoils it for you. Like they'll have like a comic book panel of things that are going to happen in the next 10 minutes, but then go back to the thing they're showing like at the point they left you, and then I'm already like spoiled to like things that are going to happen. Like I watched this when I was 5. I was a crazy Power Rangers fan. I even had a Power Rangers party where I dressed up like the Yellow Ranger. So like I was a big fan of this, and I don't remember it since I haven't watched it since just now, and that's 23. So that's what like and 18 years later, 19 years later, something like that. So I really don't remember it. And I was excited. I was getting into it. I like it remastered HD. I'm watching it. I'm in the zone. And then, like, spoiler alert, someone's gonna get kidnapped. Oh, thanks for telling me. I couldn't watch it and like see what's gonna lead up to that. Thank you. Like,
Oh, I said the exact same thing when I was watching it with you the other day. It's like the worst one for me as well is when they badly edit it. Because I remember talking to you as I was watching, I was like, wait, did Kimberly just summon her pterodactyl to blow up putties? Because that's how they edited it together. That's not what happened at all. Which means it was kind of like, the hell?
Yeah.
so that's like
That
the worst thing for me. Like, it just drives me insane. And I almost want to like find a way to like, if I know what's coming, I want to skip it. Like, so I don't spoil it. And the only other thing I don't like is usually at the end, they have another like effect. But most of the time, it's like if they took like a 5-year-old and gave him like word paint and he just started scribbling on it with a bunch of colors. Like that's how the ending looks a lot of times when they pause it and freeze frame it and just add random colors and like rainbows that apparently have the color black in it and hearts and kisses and things and like okay, like it doesn't belong here.
Yeah,
Oh,
see that you hit
you
it
didn't.
right on the head, Geeky Girl. That's the problem I have with the effects. It's not so much the effects themselves because okay, it's cheese, Batman cheese, I get it. It's the fact that the effects, the way they look and the way they're presented, like you said, it's like they gave a 5-year-old a box of crayons and said draw something. It's it's like all of a sudden Power Rangers, and no offense to the bronies out there, but it's like the Power Rangers turned into friggin' My Little Pony. I'm like, really? No,
No,
that's
My
just
Little Pony
terrible.
is way better than this.
No,
My
My
Little
Little Pony
Pony
is
Friendship is
way better.
Magic is awesome.
That's what I heard,
Yeah, My
but
Little
like classic My
Pony is
Little Pony, it just
the
it looks
classic My Little Pony
terrible.
absolutely were the terrifying. Oh, yes, classic ponies definitely.
You
Uh,
you you didn't like the big rainbow with "Yay" written at the top?
no,
No,
like what
it's
is
stupid.
that? And like why do both skull get red and black rainbows? Like, like
I'll admit I found that hilarious just because, like you said, it was out of place, but it didn't hurt the experience for me. I actually enjoyed that. I was like, that's awesome.
like I like the Batman like action commands like thwap, zing, like I like all those. Although I have to like ask one time when someone punched another person, I don't know if this was by mistake or something, but their sound effect was literally just a ZZ like as someone was sleeping, and that was a punching sound. And I don't know why, like that would happen. Like it must have been
I
error on their part.
I believe that was meant to infer that he knocked him out and therefore he's unconscious and or sleeping right now.
Yes.
Like it happened as he was throwing the punch.
Yep. It's There's some of the ones I like. I love the text ones.
Me
Like the
too.
like the classic scene from which is also in the opening of Bulk falling into the balloons, and as he falls into, you get loads of little pop 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 on the screen in text. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah. Like some of the ones where you can tell, which I think is hilarious, like reminds me again of Saved by the Bell, is whenever a guy looks at a girl and apparently there's a like huge guy to girl ratio in the school. Anyway, they have little hearts and stuff when people are looking at each other and stuff, and I think that's cute, like a little bit, like, oh, it's like cartoons when you see the Looney Tunes, their eyes come out like Jung, and like the eyes come out when they're like things. They do that. I think that's adorable.
The
Did you
effects are
like
kind
it
of
when they?
hit or miss. I mean, some of the effects, okay, yeah, they're pretty good, or they make sense, or okay, it's fun. Others, you're just like, why? Just why?
Like I said, the only one I was why with was the flames. Although I have to ask to Geeky Girl 15, as you know you've been watching it recently. Do you like it when they make something that wasn't dramatic seem dramatic? Like when Skull had like a brief 2-second stare down with Jason, and suddenly it's paused, and there's like a comic book panel down, like this is the epic duel we've been waiting for, Skull v Jason.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, in all fairness,
versus Jason Lee Scott. Ready?
in all
Fight.
in all fairness, if we're to believe the fanon, apparently Skull won that because he got Kimberly after Jason was done with her.
Bobby second.
Although clearly Jason is with her in a Turbo movie.
This is true, but that's not to say the Skull didn't get with her afterward.
But that's neither here nor there.
Indeed.
Okay, and just another small thing, and I've noticed a few times, and the little edits and little pictures in there, sometimes it actually blocks the actor's face, and just that's really annoying. And I don't think that was in their intention, but like sometimes it does like block the actor's face, so you just see like I saw these like flowers one because it was a flower episode. They blocked Billy's face, so Billy's face now was a giant purple flower where his face should be, and it just looked really weird. And like, why?
And
Stuff like that. The placement's off.
I may have just realised what they did. I hate to say this, as I actually like this one. I actually like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2010, not the thing I'm going to compare it to. They twilighted it. They made everything sparkle and shine, and they also included dramatic stare downs and more stare downs.
Yep.
And sparkles.
Yep, and sparkles. It's like, what if Power Rangers was Twilight?
It would be Mighty Morphin Rangers.
And then, yeah, I'm going to offend some people on the board with this, and yet it's still better than any of the seasons post Dino Thunder.
Ouch.
In all fairness, I haven't seen any other ones other than Mighty Morphin, so I'm gonna try to sit through it and check them all out this time.
I put it to you, Kamen Rider Decade. The greatest season, or sorry, the worst season with Tommy as Green Ranger is still better than the best season with Jaden, or the best season with Frax.
Yeah.
But I think we may have stretched this topic out to its limit.
Yeah.
Would you like to wrap us up, head admin, Power Force member, and all around shiny, happy, twilighty guy, GoldPhoenixRanger?
I'm going to approve all that except the Twilighty comment.
Sparkle on.
I'm basing that on your username of GoldPhoenixRanger, and as we've seen in Power Rangers Samurai, the Gold Ranger clearly sparkles.
To a point, that is true. Touche.
I'm siding with Team King for the record.
Fantastico!
Well, since you sided with me, hereby on this podcast, I'm officially dubbing you Sir Kamen Rider Decade.
Woohoo! Yes, take us out, boss.
He hasn't told him yet that Sir just means he's the court jester. Anyway, that has been our first ever Ranger Vision podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for taking the time to listen. If you have any suggestions for roundtable discussion topics, don't hesitate to post them in the thread or PM them to either myself or the King of Spades, and we'll be happy to take a look. And please stay tuned for future podcasts. As I said, they'll be posted every 2 weeks. It might be off by a day or so pending editing time, but it will be up approximately every 2 weeks, so there'll be 2 podcasts a month. And if you're listening to this on YouTube and you want to hear more podcasts, chat with us some more, discuss different things, please do head over to www.rangervision.com, where you'll find us all there. check us out on Facebook, on Twitter at Ranger Vision, and on our other social networking sites.
And the same thing goes if you're clicking it on the audio podcast upload.
Yes, we'll be uploading this on an audio podcast site as well. Do check us out, rangervision.com. Thank you, King of Spades, Comrade Decade, Geeky Girl 15, and Orangefalcon for joining me for the podcast.
But of course.
It was our pleasure.
It was fun.
My pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you all for listening. We'll see you for the next Ranger Vision podcast. Remember, it's our vision, your vision, Ranger Vision. Good night, everybody.